Now, with campaigns for next year's presidential election almost hitting a crescendo, the People's Democratic Party is yet to put its house in order and mend its differences. And one of the things we heard in the course of the week was Governor Wike saying that he would reveal the person he is going to, or the presidential candidate he will be supporting next year. We're also getting reports from Rivers State PDP as well. Just a lot of things going on, and we are going to talk about that right now. We'll be discussing it with one of the spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. He is also the Commissioner for Information, Delta State. He is Charles Aniago. Good to have you join us.
Thanks for having me, Precious. Happy Christmas.
Same to you. This issue has been going on for long, and I'm sure some Nigerians and your party supporters would have hoped that by now this issue would have been resolved. But the latest we're getting out of Rivers State is that the Atiku Okowa campaign office has been sealed. And your party members are saying that it was sealed by the governor. But explain to us what exactly played out in that regard.
Well, you just asked that the issue appeared to have lingered more than expected. If you are from the southeast, you would have heard what they call Ndorondoro politics. They call it Ndorondoro, which means you talk, I talk, continuous discussion, and of course, continuous interface with the people, both the dramatics personnel and of course, those who possibly they are aspiring to govern in the course of time. And so, when you have issues in any political terrain, democracy accommodates it. Democracy promises you that the majority will have their way, even as the minority will be given the latitude to also have their say. So what you are seeing happening in our party and indeed any other political party is that issue of the majority having their way and the minority having their say. I'm sure you have followed through the different presidential rallies we have had across the length and breadth of this country. You do know that you have been able to put together a whole lot of organic crowd who have converged on different venues of our rallies to listen to the presidential candidate, his running mate, and indeed other leaders of the party. And so we also made it clear at the beginning that our train has moved, is sailing and moving very, very swiftly, and that in the course of time, in spite of the speed of the train, we will apply the brakes to pick up passengers who may in the course of time change their mind, who perhaps were hesitant at the beginning and may see reason why they need to join the train. But for those who may want to continue and not to want to join the train, we do believe that that principle of democracy where the majority will have their way will certainly apply. Nigerians are looking forward to the party. So what you said happened in Rivers is most unfortunate. And you have also seen in the course of time a lot of actions being carried out by certain political leaders in the course of this dispensation. I would not want my colleagues in the media to see from the prism of just political parties or the individuals that those who are involved may want to target. I want the media to look at it from the prism of what have been vested by the Nigerian Constitution on the media, particularly in Section 22, which makes it very, very clear that the responsibility of the media is principally to hold government accountable to the people. And in holding government accountable to the people, the media need to examine certain laws, certain actions, certain nuances that is being put in the fore. A situation where an individual is passing a law or executive order to strangulate the political process, to more like tighten the democratic space, is not just a war against an individual. It's a war against our democratic journey and the need for us to be able to free the space for Nigerians to freely ventilate their grievances and, of course, also express their views with respect to issues that affect them. When you close down an office, when you contested, you had the latitude of campaigning in every public space. You had the latitude of interfacing with the electorate, even in private homes. And now having gotten to that pinnacle, you just feel that the only thing to do is to remove the ladder so that others could not climb. You may be undoing yourself so that at the end of the day, even the ladder may not also be available for you to climb down. And so that's why we plead with every well-meaning Nigerian to impress it upon these leaders who are taking these actions that are very, very anti-democratic. Actions that we didn't even see during a military rule. That those actions should not be seen from the prism of individuals that you think that are being targeted, but that it should be seen from a very, very holistic and patriotic point of view, that Nigerians reserve the right
jump in
to
here
listen to
and
the candidates irrespective of their political party.
I want to pick out two of the issues, two of the points you made. One of them you said
Yes,
that
I'm listening,
the plane,
Precious.
you said the plane has taken off. But it doesn't seem like your plane is having a smooth journey. There seems to be a lot of turbulence, especially with this particular closure of your or sealing of your campaign office in Rivers. And the governor says, or the government says, that one of the reasons the building was sealed is that the purpose for which the application, because there was an application for that building, was made is contracting to the designated use of that building, and that the GRO area of Port Harcourt is meant for the residential area, and not a commercial area, and that's one of the reasons they're given. But it just looks like it is just one of those little nuances or little issues within a larger issue, and that this particular issue with Governor Wike doesn't look like it's one of the passengers we are going to pick up anytime soon.
Let me make it very, very clear. At no time did those who define democracy inform us that it is going to be very, very smooth all the way. Usually in a democratic system, and indeed in any of such interface, you are going to have some bumpy rides. But what is most important is that you are able to land and then possibly park very, very comfortably. And I can assure you that in February, we are going to land very, very comfortably if we are flying an aeroplane. But in this case, we are making use of the train. So we are going to get to our station very, very comfortably in spite of the bumpy ride you are seeing. And those who may want to continue along the trajectory that they have progressed, we will do the best we could to ensure that we get everybody on board. But for those who want to remain hesitant, we're not going to kill them. We will just give them that a benefit of doubt that democracy allows such dissenting views at any given time. You do know that our Lord Jesus Christ, for those of us who are Christian, he had 12 disciples. And in spite of his many strengths, he was not able to get the 12 to flow continuously with him. He had Judas, who even betrayed him. And so it is not unexpected. And that is even just in 12, not to talk about when you're dealing with millions of Nigerians. We will do the best we could in this circumstance. We have continued as a political party. Our presidential candidate and his running mate, and indeed the leaders of our campaign council, have continued to engage with these our brothers and leaders in the party who perhaps have some certain issues that may be troubling their minds. Those issues we have tried as much as possible to address it in the best way we could. But if they feel that they are not satisfied with the manner we have handled it, we plead with them that it's in the interest of the party that threw them up in the first place to become even, quote and unquote, very powerful. That they need to, in this instance, lick the soup because of the food. If the food is not good enough, then let them also think of how to possibly approach the soup and then enjoy whatever the ingredients is in the soup. Otherwise, if we continue along this line, we will not be helping our country. Now, back to the issue you raised with respect to whether these individuals will come on board or whether they will not come on board. The law did not say that we must have everybody on board. And that is why you have the issue of number. In our country today, we have 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Our constitution, because it recognizes that everybody will not be on the same page, says all you need is majority of the vote plus 2/3 in plus a quarter in 2/3 of the states. That a quarter means 25% of the votes in each of the states. In which case, if 500 persons voted in a state, all you need is 125 persons in that state to have been able to secure that your 25%. And even if you go to 3 states and secure the majority of the votes, and you are able to pull one quarter in the other 2/3 of the states, which of course amount to 24 states, my sister Precious, you have won that election. The reason why the Constitution recognizes that, it is because it's believed that in the course of time, you are not going to have everybody on the same page. I am sure.
But are you doing everything you can? I'm sorry to have interrupted you. But are you doing everything you can to resolve this issue? Because I remember I can't remember the exact, whether it was this month or thereabout, where your vice presidential candidate, who is also your principal, the governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, was in Benue State. He was at the airport and ran into the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, at the airport, who was going to welcome Governor Wike. And I saw that clip where Governor Tom was saying to Governor Okowa that you people came to my state without informing me. And I'm just asking you what played out if you actually went to that state without informing Governor Samuel Otom. Are you doing everything you can in terms of resolution then?
I don't know about the issue of informing or not informing. We are doing everything. And of course, you have been following the media. You have been following the interactions. In spite of the many vituperations from certain quarters, you have seen that Atiku Abubakar and Governor Okowa have maintained a dignified silence. You cannot quote them to have insulted anybody. You cannot quote them to have used languages that are not responsible enough that depict the leadership position that they occupy. You know those who are using languages that does not in any way show that they understand the power that they wield and the positions they occupy. And of course, you do know that neither Governor Okowa nor his principal, Atiku Abubakar, fall within that category. And so, in the aspect of whether we are doing everything that is necessary for us to ensure that we move along with all our brothers and sisters in the party, that is being done, and we will continue to do that. We will continue to encourage them to think again as to how they rose to the pinnacle of where they have found themselves, and whether they, at the end of the day, they decide not to listen. Nigerians have got their mind to be able to make a decision. There is no one single individual that is going to take decision for all Nigerians. I am sure that precious those around you have their voters card and that's their PVC, that they will make their choice because they are in a position to be able to think and then look through the different candidates and then for them to be able to know which candidate suits us more. Today, most Nigerians are looking forward to the PDP to come and recover us from where we are at the moment. And that decision is left to Nigerians to be able to make. We are interfacing with them. We are happy with the responses we are getting from Nigerians from across the length and breadth of this country in the course of our presidential rallies. We are on break now because of the Christmas and the Yuletide. And immediately after the festivities, we will resume. But that does not mean that we are not interfacing with our constituents at the level of mosquito campaign and engagements. That will continue. So please be rest assured that what looks like a storm in a teacup will one day settle. As we are progressing, we are now inching closer to the voting day. Tomorrow will be 25th. And by tomorrow, you are just going to have just 2 months to the election day. What I am assuring you, you can mark this day, is that Nigerians are looking forward to Atiku Okowa to recover us. And after 25th, when the result will be announced, Precious, my very wonderful friend, I will call you to tell you to, in case you forget, to congratulate us, congratulate yourself that Nigeria is going to return to winning ways.
But 2 questions, but let me ask you the first one. The first one is that, do you think that you can proceed, or that this unresolved issue with the G5 governors, as they are now called, will not whittle your chances ahead next year's election? And the Nigerians are also watching and thinking, look, if this issue cannot be resolved, if you cannot put your house in order, how can you put Nigeria together? Would this issue not whittle your chances next year?
I have just given you an analysis earlier that Jesus Christ had 12 disciples. One of them betrayed him. Does that in any way undermine the very many powers of Jesus Christ and the many appellations ascribed to him? It doesn't. So, and I have also given you an example about our constitution and what it says. That everybody is not on the same page does not mean that the page will not be open or be closed. What I'm telling you is that, yes, even if you lose one person, it is a minus on your vote. But in spite of that minus, we are going to meet the constitutional requirements. We are going to also win very, very comfortably because Nigerians are looking in the direction of the PDP. Irrespective of the storm that you see today in that teacup, we are going to win. But in winning, we want to win and move along with our members and indeed other Nigerians who even either belong to one political party or apolitical. The reason why we want to move along with everybody is because we are desirous of having a country where everybody moves in one direction. And so, to ask whether it will affect us, it may reduce the number of votes that we'll get. We don't want to run away from that, because even if it's one vote that is coming from each one of them, that is a minus. Not to talk of individuals who have also got those they control. They have their brothers, they have those who work with them, they have family members. So somehow, their number will be out of the number we are going to, if they continue along this line, the number that will make up a winning vote. But as to whether we will win, Precious, take it from me today that Nigerians are asking for Atiku to come and rescue them. That alone is going to bring in a number of votes that are not within the political terrain. Individuals who are political, who are non-aligned. Those individuals will vote. Precious, today I am too sure you don't belong to any political party. You have brothers and sisters that you are talking to. You know those things that pain you. It may not take me to tell you who to vote for. You may be in a position to also control those persons. Those persons are more. They are in the majority more than those of us who are in the political party. And so be rest assured that Nigerians who are looking forward to a better country We vote for that candidate that will give them a better country.
But
and we have been
somehow,
able to outline those policies that will make Nigeria better.
There are Nigerians who were saying, because you're so sure about your victory, but some Nigerians are saying that, look, the momentum of this campaign has only been felt in two camps. And that's one for the APC camp, and then the Peter Obi Labour Party camp, that they're the ones who have built strong momentum in terms of campaigns and just engagement, and that it looks like the PDP is losing steam. How do you respond to those kind of comments?
For obvious reason, I didn't want you to take me to that route, because even you know in your mind that the PDP is the one that is engaging. Let us look at the number of states. How many states have they been to, these other political parties you mentioned? I made up my mind while coming to this your program today that I don't want to even talk about the other political parties. Let them go and carry their cross. But I do know that Nigerians are very much aware that the PDP is the only party that have been able to crisscross far more number of states. The PDP is the only one that have engaged Nigerians, whether it's in terms of town hall, whether in terms of a debate, whether it's in terms of presidential rallies. Let them tell us how many of those have been up to even 6 states. I can mention the number of states we have been to. We have been to almost all the geopolitical zone in this country in the course of these presidential rallies. And so I don't know whether they even have a steam, let alone even open their ante. We are the one that have a steam, and our steam is gathering momentum. We are not losing any steam. We are moving in the upward trajectory, in spite of what you saw or what you described as turbulence. Those storm in a teacup, if he refuses to settle, that tea, the content of that teacup, will still be consumed. And I can assure you that in consuming the content of that tea, it means that Nigerians will vote for Atiku Okowa. Individuals who want to ascribe to themselves omni-power, to say they will be the one to decide to let Nigerians know who they want to vote for, and I saw Nigeria will follow along that line. You need to be reminded that they contested the election not long ago and they lost to somebody. If you cannot win an election for yourself, you are not determining whether people will vote for another person. Why did you not take that determination to win? That kind of attitude should belong to even those who have won very well. If somebody like President Muhammadu Buhari is even saying that he will tell people who to vote for, we will try to listen, because he has been known to be winning election in recent times. So in which case you can say his base is huge.
But wouldn't that also apply to your presidential candidate? He has run for this office twice. He has contested for primaries and didn't win. He has run for this office and didn't win. So
not twice.
This will be the second time. That's what I mean. This will be the second time.
Yeah.
So when you say that only those who have won elections should advise others how to vote, it also applies to your candidate.
Precious, my presidential candidate is pleading with Nigerians to vote for him. He's not ascribing that omni-power to himself to say, I am the one to tell Nigerians where to vote for. He says, Nigerians, if you give me the opportunity, he's even using the word if, which is a conditional clause. If you give me the opportunity, I will do this. Because he recognizes the power of Nigerians to be able to think through and then look at the policies and programs he has put before them. But there is somebody who is saying, making it look as if it's the one who will come to even your house and tell your mother who to vote for. Precious, those who are ascribing that power to themselves, how many elections have they won in recent times? The last election, they lost. And I am too sure that you remember that Atiku won that election. So if somebody defeated you in an election, go and learn how to win first.
Well, that claim cannot be substantiated, Mr. Nyagu, because even the Supreme Court declared the president the winner. So I wouldn't want to toe that line. But let me ask you about this. Just recently, I think that was about two or 3 days ago, when Governor Wike said that in January 2023, he will let people know who his preferred presidential candidate is. I just want to ask you if your party is waiting and holding your breath, hoping that that support goes to your presidential candidate and your party.
I'm sure you are a news person. What is news in that kind of comment? If somebody is flowing along a particular trajectory and he continues along that line, that is not news. The only thing that can be news coming from that quarter today, if he wakes up and say, Atiku is my candidate, that's the only thing that will be news. Those who have said, I don't want to work with you, and then the man continues to say, I don't want to work with you, then what's news there? We must be able to, as newsmen, to begin to look at what makes news. If somebody says what he is used to saying, that cannot be news. What will be news will be when we are going to win by the grace of God. What is news is that Atiku has continued the interface with Nigerians. So if somebody says, I will tell you where to vote for, the only thing that could be news is if somebody wakes up and say, Atiku is the man. So let's look at what is news, and then you can make me to react to news, not what is stale and what does not add up.
If he stays within your party, if he stays within your party and then supports a presidential candidate on another platform, would your party see that as anti-party activity and then take action against the governor?
Has he not been engaged in anti-party for a long time? Because we need peace. That's why even you know that there has been a lot of anti-party. Was it not in your Lagos? The PDP has a candidate in Lagos, a governorship candidate. What did he do in Lagos? We don't just want trouble. That's why we just, okay, let us just continue to manage the situation. And that is what I have described in the course of time, the danger of a single story. Governor Nyesom Wike is a leader in our party. But you do know that what he's enjoying is the fact that we didn't want to join issues with him. And so it makes it look as if he's saying the facts the way they are. As a political party, we are very, very desirous of having him on board. We plead with him to come on board. We will wish that he comes on board. But this continuous attack on the party and the presidential candidate is not acceptable, because he knows that what he's saying is not the truth of the matter. If he's pained that he lost an election to the presidential candidate, he's not the first person to lose an election. Rotimi Amechi in Rivers lost election to Bola Tinubu of Lagos. He has not put down the roof. If you want to win, there's another opportunity to win again. That you lost an election and then you continue to make it look as if the whole world is going to come to an end. Precious, even you in your mind, you know that that's not the right thing to do.
You keep talking about my mind, even though I haven't revealed my mind. But let me go, because I just have about a few minutes left, and I want to ask you about this, a very different issue, but also within your party. This recent issue with the former DG of the Peter Obi presidential campaign council, who was convicted for money laundering.
He's not in our party. He's in Labour Party.
Hold on, of the Labour Party, but he used to be in the PDP, and so I think it was veteran actor Kenneth Okonkwo who said, look, it is an indication of the corruption within the PDP, because that happened while he was within the PDP, and that is also a poor reflection on your presidential candidate. How do you react?
I'm not one of those who just talk from left to right. I can assure you I will remain in the PDP no matter what happens. If I leave PDP, then it means I'm no longer in any political party. The man you talked about now is my very good friend. He was in the PDP. He jumped out of the PDP, jumped into APC. He jumped from APC, jumped into the Labour Party. Where's the credibility? I need you to bring issues that is coming from people who are credible. I don't want to respond to those who have not shown credibility. Anybody who jumps from one political party without a just cause, among the spokespersons, particularly the person you just mentioned, does not have the strength to begin to tell me what he's telling me about, what he's talking about. So if individuals who have said it before, that there is corruption in our country, that corruption is happening across. Let's not come and begin to play God and make it look so.
Mr. Nia, you know that when you talk about people who jump from political parties, you're not sparing your presidential candidate as well.
If you want me to learn,
from different parties. He has moved, just a minute, he has moved from PDP to APC and back to PDP.
If you want me to learn, then you're the presidential candidate of the APC should have remained in AD. Why did they move from AD to AC?
Can you compare a merger? That was a merger. That was parties merged, and that's different.
AD merged with who? See, when you talk about people who are moving, I'm talking about myself versus the persons you mentioned. Myself, you're asking me to respond to an individual. In any case, when my presidential candidate moved from the APC, he made it very clear that APC has moved away from their manifesto and that is not acceptable to him. I am talking about spokespersons. If you want us to go to the candidates, I will go to the candidates. So those spokespersons, instead of them to accept their cross, when the man was their DG, didn't they know that he was a former member of the PDP? When they were taking him around, say, these are man, where are the people, where are the correct people? Were they not aware that he was in the PDP before? Now the law has caught up with them. They want to begin to look for how to offload him. People should accept their responsibility. There are people who have been found to be corrupt in PDP.
All right.
There are people who are still very corrupt in APC. There are very corrupt people also in Labour Party, and indeed many other political parties. Let us not politicize corruption by beginning to name which political party they belong. Let's begin to deal with individuals on the basis of what they have done to undermine our growth.
I do have to leave it there. I'm sure, again, I mean, the election is still about 2 months away, thereabouts, less than 2 months away.
Remember, I said you are going to congratulate the president.
We're going to have more on this conversation, Mr. Nyagu. I know my time is up. I am so sorry. But we would have you again to have this conversation.
On February 26th to congratulate me so that you don't forget.
I would congratulate whoever wins that election. Thank you so much for talking to us, Commissioner of Information for Delta State, and one of the spokesperson for the Atiku Okowa Presidential Campaign Council, Charles Nyagu. Thank you for talking to us. And that's it on Political Standpoint.